Hello, everybody. I'm Alperen and my teammate is Bora. So we're going to present you our work called Sports Video Classification using RNNs and CNNs together. So let's define our problem in the first place. So actually, we can define our problem with a simple sentence. Based on a video, can you predict which sport it belongs to? So there's some videos which belongs to some sports such as football or basketball or baseball. And we have 26 different sports, 26 different classes, and we're trying to assign any video to one of those classes. So this is actually the problem statement. And when we come to the challenges when dealing with this problem is the videos are usually not well structured enough because sometimes it's the photographic issues, for example, low light, low saturation, bad resolution, etc. Or sometimes the videos are landscape or portrait mode. So it actually makes it harder to process these data. And we have long computation resource. We only have two laptops. We don't have any Hadoop clusters running in our dorms. So we need to do this in a more effective way and a computation power point of view. And the difficulty in series modeling is one of the common problems, one of the challenging tasks in machine learning. So it's already a challenging problem. And our motivation to solve this problem was to filter the unstructured data form as a video. For example, this problem actually had occurred on big data platforms such as Netflix or YouTube because they need to label the videos in order to run their algorithms more faster and effective. And we can use this model, we can use this model, base model, to solve more difficult problems since we solved a more simpler problem. For example, we can solve the action recognition or fault detection problems using these base model. And here we have searched about the related works since we're not the first one who researched about this problem. And we have three different approaches. We have three different actually key approaches, and one of them is a CNN basic 3D CNN approach, which Karpathy and his colleagues have used in 2014 and achieved 63 accuracy on 100 classes data set, which is Sports 1 million, which they collected themselves. It was good for its time, but for now it's quite outdated because 1 year later, with less resource in 2015, Yuhai Ng and his colleagues have used both the CNN and RNN as we do, and they have achieved 73% of accuracy on the same data set. But the difference was they used the optical flow features and the CNN features in a fusion way to feed the RNN. And we have something called the advanced RNN, which is actually more recent work, which has used the lateral inhibition, which was inspired by a biology. And it has used this update rule in a variant of AlexNet and has achieved 98% accuracy on a custom 8-class dataset. And now Bora will continue from our approach.
Okay, so we have seen about some related works in this topic. Let me explain our approach. Well, CNN models are good for image data and RNN models are good for sequences. We said like, well, why don't we combine them both and just use it on videos? So we have some sample frames from videos, and we use those frames to extract features from videos using CNN. And then we feed this sequence of features to an RNN model to classify the video. And then of course we have some MLP layers at the end to classify the labels. And voila, you can classify videos now. So yeah, why do we use two separate models? Advantage-wise, well, it's less complicated compared to 3D CNN, which is resource-friendly, as Alperen mentioned. We don't have such high computational resources. And so videos are not theoretically bound by a specific duration. Some videos can be 1 minute, some videos can be 30 seconds, or some videos can be 5 minutes. They have varying lengths. Another advantage is better interpretability, extracting spatial and temporal features individually, unlike 3D CNNs. Deep learning models, neural networks, are generally known for their being a black box. If you have used 3D CNN, only a 3D CNN, just a single model, it would be more like a really more like a black box. It's a really close form of solution. It's probably wouldn't be interpretable enough. But as we use two separate models here, we can inspect some outputs in between the models, or we can apply some debugging techniques more easily. So disadvantages, less complicated compared to a 3D CNN, which may cause our structure not learn spatiotemporal features. So if I'm to explain spatiotemporal features, like thinking of an archer releasing a bow, you can, again, our models also can infer that this video is indeed from an archer video just by looking at a single frame or just by looking some sequence of frames. But spatial temporal means the moment that the archer releases the bow and the arrow just starts to fly. There is some feature called spatial temporal, which includes both sequence and image feature. So our model probably will not be able to capture this feature, but spoiler alert, it doesn't make any quite difference. So another disadvantage is it requires more work. Training two relatively small models instead of one big complex model. It takes more time, more debugging, more thing to do, more coding. And another disadvantage is it needs more data. We needed two separate data sets to tune and just, test our models. And these data sets have to be compatible ones. It's a really difficult criterion. Just using a one video data set would be much, much easier. So let me explain our data sets. For CNN, again, I said we use images, and for RNN, we use sequences. So, yes, we used two different data sets. We trained our CNN models on a basic classification task using the image data sets. As you can see here, there are some samples from bowling class from the image data set. And then we use the CNN models to extract features from sequences from the video datasets. As you can see at the below, there's also a sample video from bowling class. So yes, it actually did not work out as we wanted due to dataset incompatibility that I talked about. And also, another thing to mention here, it's hard to adjust frame dimensions of videos with image dataset dimensions. As you can see, this video is taken in a portrait orientation, let's say. Also, some videos are other kind of, have other kind of, what was it,
We need
Alperen? Sorry,
to
I
add
cannot.
some padding and like solve the mean of the color schema on the data set, and it was a difficulty we had that occurred on the data processing part. That's the
Yes,
hardest thing about
also,
the actual video processing.
yes, different kind of orientations like landscape. I could not remember landscape
Yeah.
and portrait modes are two different orientations, which gave us a bit of hard time. We can move on. So let's get to the training and testing phase. I'll be talking about CNN experiments and training phase. We have experimented with two different models for CNN, VGG16 and Resident 50. We use them as base models. Also, we fine tune them to, just get a little bit of better results. So our best CNN model was VGG16 with fine tuning. It actually achieved 96% accuracy on our balanced data sets. Another thing to mention here, augmentations matter. In this plot, you see our different 7 augmentation combinations. Among them, the third and sixth combinations gave us the best results. These results indicate that augmentations focusing on dynamic variance and noise handling, such as random mutation, random Gaussian noise, and random color jitter, were particularly effective. And as optimizer, we use LMW optimizer, 20 epochs, and you can see other numerical values here.
So I'll be talking about the RNN part. So we have experimented the RNN parts, yeah, actually using a technique called leave the best one because we couldn't do like a lot of tests. We didn't have the time and resource to do a grid search. So we just started with a starting point using a model, the gated recurrent unit model. And then we just changed the parameters until we reach a good model. So the best RNN model that has given the best results were bidirectional lithium with a hidden size of 64 and 8 frames sampled from a video. So the actually 8 is the length of the sequence that we're processing. And in these stats, we have understood that the hidden size in these RNN really matters because we actually feed these hidden sizes, the hidden states, to the multi-layer perceptron model to learn the labels. So the hidden size really has mattered in our RNN tests. So we have used these training values, hyperparameters such as atom optimizers with its betas, the standard betas, and 25 epochs was enough. We have tried with 50 epochs, which has the model has achieved the plateau after 25 epochs. So we only use 25 epochs. And we have used the learning rates, which is an empirical number, and we have adjusted the batch size as 40. So we have achieved 74% of accuracy with our best RNN and best CNN with the values stated above. It was a balanced data set, so we could use accuracy as a metric. We could evaluate the accuracy as a healthy metric on this data set. And the future directions, how can we improve this problem, or how can we change the way that we define this problem, is how to, we can select some keyframes in a video and use a 2D CNN just to predict the video label. And what I mean by keyframes is a keyframe is a frame that can actually, uh, you can infer that the which sport is played on that video just by looking at that frame, just by looking at a particular frame. And this is how we define a keyframe. So if you have any model or technique to find the keyframes in a video, then you can just use one model, which is more efficient by both the resource and time. And the variability of video sizes, the duration of video sizes is a problem too, as I've stated in the beginning. And we can ask more questions like we could use some transformers, but we didn't have that much data. We only had 120 videos per class. So maybe transformers may not converge on this small data set. We haven't tried it. We can try it on the future. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your listening. And if you have any questions, you can state them on the comments below. Thank you for listening to us.